Okay, so Abby had something happen to her last weekend. And I asked her to share it at the start of today's episode because I think a lot of people are going to recognize themselves in this story. Abby, go ahead.
Okay, so I was at a dinner party, and at some point, someone asked for my opinion on something. And here's the thing. I actually had one. A clear, confident opinion. I knew what I thought.
But
when I opened my mouth, what came out was, well, I could be completely wrong about this, and I might be missing something important, but maybe it is possible that... And then I gave my opinion. At the very end, buried under all this softening.
And did you decide to do that?
No, that is what was strange. I did not decide anything. It just came out, automatically. And then I sat there for the rest of the evening thinking, why did I do that? I was not unsure. I knew what I thought. But my mouth still made it sound like a question.
Okay, and that moment, that automatic softening, is exactly what we are talking about today. Because what Abby experienced is not a quirk, it is a rule in action, specifically an inherited rule.
Let us explain that, because when Steve said inherited rule to me, I first thought he meant something like a family rule, something your parents told you out loud, like, be home by 10.
Right, and some inherited rules are like that. But most of them were never said out loud. You learned them by watching, by feeling what happened when you broke them, by absorbing the world around you before you were old enough to question it.
And they feel like facts.
That is the key thing. They do not feel like someone's opinion. They do not feel like a preference that came from a specific person at a specific time. They feel like the truth about how things are, about who you are supposed to be.
So the word inherited here, let me just explain that for anyone still building their English vocabulary. To inherit something means to receive it from someone before you, usually your parents or family. You inherit a house if your grandparents leave it to you. You inherit a trait if you have the same nose as your father. And in this case, you inherit a rule, a belief about how to behave, from the people and culture around you.
And I want to add one more word, installed. As in, these rules were installed, like software, like someone put them into your system before you had a chance to read the terms and conditions.
Which is a little unsettling to think about.
It is, but it is also kind of freeing, because if someone installed it, that means it is not just who you are. It is something that was put there, which means it can also be examined. It can be updated.
Okay, so let us go through 3 of the most common categories of inherited rules. As we describe each one, just notice. Does any of this feel familiar?
Category 1. Rules about space. How much space you are allowed to take up. Conversational space, physical space, emotional space. The amount of time you are allowed to need. The amount of opinion you are allowed to have.
Do not be too loud. Do not talk too much about yourself. Do not be too much. Make yourself easy. Make yourself small.
And related ones. If you ask for too much, people will think you are difficult. It is better to say nothing than to say the wrong thing. Your feelings are not the most important thing in the room.
Okay, I feel this one in my body right now. Because I have a voice, and I think a lot of people have this, that is always checking. Am I too much right now? Have I talked too long? Did I take up too much space? It runs in the background basically all the time.
And what does that cost you?
I cannot be fully present. I am spending half my energy monitoring myself. Instead of actually being in the conversation, I am watching myself from the outside.
You are your own audience when you are supposed to be a participant.
Exactly. And at that dinner party, If I had not been running that old rule, I could have just said my opinion and moved on. But instead, I used all this energy softening it, and then spent the rest of the evening analyzing why I did that.
So the rule did not protect you. It just cost you energy and left you feeling bad about yourself.
Which is a sign that it is time to look at it.
Category 2. Rules about earning. About whether you are allowed to receive good things, rest, enjoyment, praise, success, without earning them first.
Work first, then rest. You have to deserve it. If things are going well, do not get too comfortable. I cannot relax until everything is finished. If I am not being productive, I am being lazy.
And a sneaky one. If things are going too well, something bad is probably coming.
Oh, that one is so real, because it sounds like being realistic. But what it actually does is prevent you from ever fully enjoying anything. You are always waiting for the catch.
It is a form of self-protection. If I do not let myself feel too good, then the disappointment will not hurt as much. But the cost is, you never really feel good. You are always holding something back.
And the earn it first rule? I have this one so badly. Even sitting still on a Tuesday afternoon, if there are still things on my to-do list, I feel genuinely guilty. My body feels wrong, like I am breaking a rule.
And where did that rule come from?
Watching my parents. They were always working. Rest was never really modeled as okay. Like, if you were sitting still, you should probably be doing something.
So you absorbed that as a fact about the world. Busy people are good. Resting people are lazy. And even if you know intellectually that rest is healthy, that your brain needs it, that all the research says you need it, the feeling in your body does not care about research.
That is so true. Knowing something with your brain and believing it in your body are completely different things.
The rule is not in your thoughts. It is in your behavior. It is in that automatic guilt that shows up the moment you try to stop.
Okay, category 3?
Category 3. Rules about emotional expression. About when you are allowed to feel things. Which feelings are acceptable. How you are supposed to handle difficulty.
Do not cry in public. Do not get angry. Do not be a burden. Other people have it worse. Just be strong. You are fine.
That last one, other people have it worse, is interesting because it sounds compassionate. It sounds like healthy perspective. But in practice, what does it do?
It makes you feel bad for feeling bad.
It adds guilt on top of the original feeling. So now you have the sadness or the frustration or whatever it was, and on top of that you feel shame for having it, which does not make the original feeling go away. It just adds more weight.
And sometimes you end up more exhausted from managing the shame than from the original emotion.
And again, the rule came from somewhere. A parent who did not want to see their child in pain. A culture that values strength and resilience. These are not bad intentions. They are people passing down what helped them survive.
A survival tool for their world that you are carrying in yours.
Okay, so we have 3 categories. Rules about space, rules about earning, rules about feelings. And now the question, how do you actually start to identify which ones you are carrying?
Because it is not like you can just Google, what are my inherited rules?
Right, but there is a question that I find really useful. It is this. When you notice yourself doing something automatically, something you did not consciously choose, ask, is this rule mine, or did I inherit it?
Let me say that again. Is this rule mine, or did I inherit it? The word mine is important, because mine means I thought about it. I examined it. I decided, yes, this is how I want to live. Not just, it has always been this way.
And you might find that a lot of your automatic behaviors are running inherited rules you never actually agreed to.
Which is a little strange to realize, but also kind of good. Because once you see it as a rule and not as a fact, you get to decide what to do with it.
Okay, let us actually try this right now. I want both of us to share one inherited rule we are aware of. Abby, you go first. Dinner party excluded.
Okay, mine is related to the dinner party one, but slightly different. I have a rule that goes, be likable before being honest. Like, I will soften things. I will cushion things. I will spend a lot of energy making sure you are comfortable before I say something that might cause friction, even when the honest thing would have been faster and more useful for both of us.
Where do you think that came from?
Honestly, I think growing up, I learned that when I made someone uncomfortable, things got worse for everyone. So I started managing other people's comfort as a first priority, and that became automatic.
Is that rule yours?
No, I did not choose it. And I do not actually want to live like that. I want to be kind, yes, but kindness and constant softening are not the same thing. I can be honest and warm at the same time. That is the rule I want to keep.
Okay, mine is about asking for help. I grew up with a strong message about self-reliance. Figuring things out on your own was valued. And as a result, I really struggle to ask for help, even in situations where asking would be the obviously smart thing to do.
Because asking feels like failure?
Like admitting I cannot handle it, which rationally I know is not true. But the rule is not rational. It is automatic. And it has cost me real time and energy going far down the wrong road alone when I could have just asked someone.
Is that rule yours?
The self-reliance part. I want to keep some of that. I like being capable. I like solving problems. But the never ask for help part? That one I am actively working on updating.
So it is not all or nothing. You do not have to throw out everything. You can look at the rule and say, which part of this serves me, and which part is just old?
The rules that shaped you are not the same as the rules that are true.
Write that down. Seriously. The rules that shaped you are not the same as the rules that are true.
They were true for someone, at some point, in some context, but they are not universal facts. And some of the beliefs you are walking around with right now, beliefs that feel obvious, that feel like just how things are, were installed before you were old enough to argue with them.
Which means you are old enough now.
You can look at them. You can ask, is this rule mine? Is it still serving me? And if the answer is no, you do not have to keep running it.
You can thank it for what it gave you, and then you can let it go. Or adjust it. Or replace it with something you actually chose.
The goal is not to become a different person. It is to become a more conscious version of yourself.
One rule at a time.
Okay, here is something small you can try this week. Pick one automatic thing you do, one reaction, one habit, one way of responding that you have never really questioned. Just one. And ask, where did this come from? Is this actually mine?
You do not have to change anything yet. Just notice. Just ask the question. That is already something.
Because noticing is the first step. You cannot update software you do not know is running.
All right, thank you everyone for listening. Take care of yourselves.
See you next time.